Dun 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 dun! Critics Corner!
Welcome back to Viewerschoice2013.
Critic! Critic! Critic!
The real people's power.
So
we're going to kick this episode off with a new segment we like to call, of course, Critics Corner.
Critics Corner. So you see so many movies out there and we all criticize on them and everything else. Mm-hmm. Well, this is our segment that criticizes movies. And it will be movies that we watch on the same day. Mm-hmm. Today's episode features
the brand new horror movie, The Cabin in the Woods.
Cabin in the Woods. It was a good movie.
Yeah,
good. The actors were good.
Yes,
there wasn't no lame actors.
No.
The visual effects were good.
Very good.
I don't consider them great, but they were very good.
Very.
The storyline was it had its time.
It had its moments, its ups and its downs, and then it's what the fuck. So the story started off with 5 college friends, and they're going on some kind of trip to a cabin in the woods.
Yeah, what was said it would belong to one of the fellow people's
brothers, cousins.
Yeah,
one of the 2.
And I believe it was the Stoners.
No, it was the Jocks. The Jocks' brother, yeah. And they wanted to go on some kind of retreat to unwind for the weekend.
So just like any other movie, you have your jock, your slut. Yes, your slut. Mm-hmm. You know they all have them in horror movies.
The blonde whores, the skanks, trickers.
Yep. The brainiac.
Mm-hmm.
The stoner.
Mm-hmm.
And the virgin.
Mm-hmm.
5 key elements to a normal horror movie.
Yep.
It was like in other movies such as the Evil, the Nightmare on Elm Streets, the Jasons, Halloweens. They all have the same type of people in it.
That's the one thing they seem to keep as a strong element in horror films.
It works.
Exactly. And as the story progressed, it's like we said, it kind of had its ups and downs and what the fucks. And at one point in the movie, they go down to the cellar. Mm-hmm. Now, the cellar had a bunch of different artifacts and articles and shit. And it kind of got strange at that point because the camera angles seemed to focus on each one at one time.
And what they were doing. Yeah, what they were doing. Stuff like that.
One had a necklace, one had a fucking Fabergé egg, one had a book.
Yep.
And so they read from a book.
That's what Razorhead was supposed to be.
The Fabergé egg.
He was supposed to be after the job.
Or whoever the hell was playing Fabergé egg.
That was the job.
Oh, it was the job?
Yeah.
I wasn't paying too much attention. I was looking at Facebook.
Addiction. In any case.
So, it turns out that the girl who was reading from the book, summoned their
She read a chant in the book, which the stoner at first said that's not a good idea, let's not read it. And as he was trying to tell her that, there was a voice that he kept hearing of a girl telling him, read it, everything. And he said, I don't think that's a good idea. And the girl was like, it's Latin, it's nothing big deal, it's just written in a book. And don't people know you never read something that you don't know what it says?
Right.
You never know what you're doing. Especially if you're reading an old creepy book.
Yeah, apparently the book belonged to a young girl who was in a family of psycho people.
Yep.
And as the what was it, the brainy chick, or was it the virgin? It was the
virgin that was reading the book.
The virgin read from the book, and apparently she summoned this psychotic slasher zombie family from
the dead,
quote unquote. So one by one, they got fucked up by the zombie family.
Yep.
Until there was the jock, the stoner.
No, at first it was the jock, the nerd, and the virgin. We thought the stoner or nerd died.
Yeah, we thought the stoner had died. So the jock, the nerd, and the virgin escaped, or so they thought.
They thought as they were riding down the road, the people behind the scenes blew a tunnel so they could not leave the island.
But they had some faulty wiring.
So the jock decided to get on a motorcycle and was going to try to jump to go get help.
Jump over
but as he jumped,
he ran into a wall.
An invisible barrier came up,
and he went splat
all the way down. So the nerd and the virgin started to drive down the road. You know, while they were driving, there was one of the demon guys in the back seat
from the cannibal demon zombie family.
Yep, killed the nerd,
stuck him right through the neck,
and then the van flipped over straight into the water.
And then the virgin bitch got away, and then she got caught.
She got caught by the big dude,
big creepy bear trap carrying dude.
One quick note: before the jock died, earlier in the movie, when he was running back through the woods after the slut got killed, he knocked over the little girl zombie and said, "That little dead bitch."
He clotheslined this bitch. He fucking made this bitch almost do a 360.
That was funny.
That was the most hilarious part of that.
I like that part.
I cracked the fuck up.
Okay, so back to where we were now.
So, yes.
So, as they're going, this guy is whipping on her. Meanwhile, the people in the booth are somewhat...
The ones controlling all
the traps and everything stuff like that.
Unleashing the family and shit like that.
Then
out of nowhere, after a while they're partying, they find out the stoner is still alive.
And the stoner fucked that big dude up,
yes,
too.
The stoner put a hurting on the big dude. And they escaped, and they found a hidden passage into the facility of the ones behind the whole...
Yeah, it was like a great, like a casket. They opened it up, went down there, and there was like an elevator.
A bunch of technology.
So as the elevator's going down, it rotates, and then on both sides of these clear windows, you could see different creatures, demons,
one was a werewolf, one was a ghost that kind of looked like one of the fuckers from The Fall.
Yep.
There was a little ballerina girl with fucking teethful face.
Yeah, it was like
kind of like if you watch the last season of Supernatural, kind of like how the fucking Leviathans looked when they were biting on somebody. Yeah, and then on one there was this guy, giant big ass guy, that kind of reminded you of Pinhead from Hellraiser.
That's who he reminded me of.
Instead of having the pins in his head, he had fucking saw blades sticking out the side of his fucking face.
Now, we couldn't see what he did, only because he was supposed to kill the jock. But since the jock jumped over the ravine and smashed his head,
and his arms and torso and legs and everything else. So yeah, as their little elevator kept spinning and rotating to different levels, they kept seeing more and more demon monster creatures.
So when they come to the bottom, the door opens, the main curator's talking and she's explaining, just get it over with, this is part of the
explaining how it's how everything happened to them, it's happening for a reason, how it's like an ancient kind of ritual and they have no choice but to let it happen. And that's when the really good part happens.
So they jump into this booth.
They get cornered in a booth by soldiers with guns.
And there's a release button
for all
the creatures. So I would have done it too.
Oh, hell yeah, I would have done it.
Press the button, and all of a sudden the elevator doors start open. And man, these things just come flying out.
Zombies, fucking gigantic mutant bats, gigantic snakes, spiders,
mermaids,
creepy mutant
unicorns.
A fucking unicorn impaled a guy against a wall multiple times.
That was cool.
That was funny. I will never look at unicorns the same way again.
You're not gonna look at the magical creatures. You're looking at demon characters.
Yeah, right. Demon motherfuckers. Let's see. What other fucking hilarity was there?
Man, they washed those things roughed some people up.
Yeah, that was the most awesome part.
I mean, there was blood holes everywhere.
Whole room just splattered with blood and guts and body parts. And
so as they were, the girl and the stoner got first a bat came flying through the glass, So the girl in the stern got out of the room, and as they were getting out of the room, they were coming out of the hall, and some guy tried to stop them. Meanwhile, the bat just comes
right through the motherfucking wall.
Right through the wall.
And they run into the hole that the gigantic bat created.
Yep.
Only to run into one of the guys behind the control room, to which unleashed their
and they stab his ass.
And the Virgin stabs him, and before he dies, he says to her, "Kill him. You gotta kill him.
You got to kill him. Kill him. You got to kill him."
So then they come into this weird cavern-like area where there's templates of different pictures. Most of them, 4 of the 5 were filled in outline with blood, and apparently that each template was a symbol of them who were in order that they were to be killed. Like we said, the stoner, the jock, stoner was secondly the partier or the dummy. Something ignorant that the lady said.
Kind of like the comic relief.
Yeah, the comic relief. And the slut, the stoner, the jock, the virgin, and the nerd.
And they had to go down in a particular order. They had to go down as the whore. The whore.
The whore first.
The jock.
Then the jock.
Then the nerd.
Then the nerd.
Then the stoner.
The partier, stoner.
Yeah, partier, stoner.
And then the virgin was either to be killed or left alive, whatever fate would decide for her. And come to find out, the main one behind the entire thing was Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver, you know, Miss Alien.
Yeah, Miss Ripley, motherfucker. She went ham on the stoner. She fucked him up.
Yeah, she did. And then, like, before she went ham on him, the girl, the virgin, had a chance to kill him with the gun. And he was like, "Well, I'm sorry." And then she turns around, she's getting attacked by a fucking werewolf.
Yeah, and she got mauled by a werewolf. And at the time, she really deserved it because she was going to shoot the stoner.
Yeah, then that's when Ripley turned on the stoner, whipping the hell out of
his ass.
And then what happened? The girl came in.
The little zombie girl from the Psycho Butcher family came out of nowhere and slapped an axe right in the back of Ripley's head.
And then the stoner kicked them both over the edge.
Yep. And that's when all of humanity...
Yeah, they were sitting there joking for a minute, then right then all of a sudden you hear a big rumble, then there's a cut scene up to the top where the top of the cavern was.
After the whole cavern and area implodes, next thing you see is a fucking molten looking hand come out and smack towards the camera.
And
so apparently the whole storyline is based on these 5 fuckers where they were supposed to die, and this was what was happening in the U.S. We forgot to mention that. In each state or city or capital, whatever you want to call it, there was a different kind of
different system.
To happen.
A different god. A different god.
A ritual to appease the ancient ones, as Ripley
and everywhere was failing.
Every other one had failed, except so it was down to the U.S. portion of the whole horror thing. So apparently, the point of it all was to appease the ancient ones. If the ritual failed, then the ancient ones, which apparently were gigantic creatures, gods, whatever,
gigantic gods,
would enslave or destroy humanity. Now, the only way to stop them was to human sacrifices.
Since we're down to 1 minute, I'm going to leave it like this. 4 out of 5. And I mean, what do you give it? How many stars?
I will rate it a 3 out of 5.
You rate it 3 out of 5?
3 out of 5.
That's what I meant to ask when I said that. I give it about 3.5, just because it's good acting, good graphics.
Actually, you know what? I'll change mine. I'll give it a 4 out of 5, just because I love all the gore.
Okay, 4 out of 5. Now, tell us what you think of the movie. You can probably expect a sequel.
Probably.
Cabin in the Woods, Fall of the Gods, or something like that.
Rise of the Ancient Ones, Fall of the Ancient Ones, some retarded shit like that they'll come up with. But we'll be right back. This wraps up our first edition of Critics Corner. We will be back with more movies
as time goes.
As time goes by, and we might even review some TV shows or music or shit like that. But we'll be back with another segment after this.